All right, so Luka Dončić made his debut for the Lakers last night. I'm sitting down watching the game. There's a lot of interesting basketball stuff that we will get to in a minute. But after seeing that last night, I think by this time next year, we're going to be seeing a Luka Dončić that we have never seen before. A reborn player, a rejuvenated player, but a player that just has a brand new mentality and edge to his game. Now, I'm a massive Luka fan. He's one of my favorite players of all time, hands down. But if there's one thing we know about Luka, it's that the defensive effort is not always there. That's completely fair to say. That's completely factual to say. But with Luka coming to the Lakers, that effort or lack thereof is no longer going to be tolerated. This is a different animal playing with a 40-year-old LeBron James. When one of the greatest players of all time is out there at that age giving it 100% on the defensive end of the floor, if you're Luka, you have zero excuse to not be doing the exact same thing. And I thought we saw some of that last night. I do think it's fair to say he's not 100% back to being in full basketball shape yet, but the effort on the defensive side of the floor is what really stood out to me last night. He was getting back in transition. He was really attentive on the defensive side. He was down low, ready to help on the interior if it came to that. So if we just get normal Luka on the offensive side, which is a top 5 player all time, paired with a tenacious defensive mentality, it might be over for the rest of the league if we're being completely honest. And it's not only the LeBron factor and being in a bigger market, playing for a more marquee team. That's not the only thing driving this new mindset switch, in my opinion. The Mavericks pretty much told him to his face that he isn't good enough on that side of the floor to win a title. That paired with all the other stuff, I think is going to create a much different Luka Dončić heading forward. And again, pair that with the offensive brilliance, and I don't know what the league is going to do with this. But now talking about the on-the-court stuff and how it affected the Lakers as a whole, I have never seen Jackson Hayes smile that big in my life. By far the biggest winners of this entire trade are Jackson Hayes and Rui. Jackson Hayes is a legitimate lob threat, and now you have the best lob thrower in the entire league on this team. He found him last night, and man, that is not going to be the last lob we see between those two. The pick and roll game with those two is going to be absolutely lethal, and when opposing defenses are collapsing and worrying about that, Rui's going to be wide open in the corner. Again, we saw that last night. Especially when the trio of LeBron, Luka, and Reeves are all out there together. In terms of scoring and playmaking, this might be the best trio in the league for me. I know you have Tatum, Brown, and Holiday in Boston, but the playmaking with LeBron and Luka in particular, it just causes so many problems for the opposing defense. And yeah, I know it was Utah, so take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But when you have Luka doing Luka things in the post, you have LeBron driving and kicking out, you have Austin Reeves ball handling and creating his own shot, there's a million different ways this Laker offense can beat you. And guys, that was just game one. Wait until this chemistry gets going. Just wait until Luka isn't completely rusty. He did not have the feel from the three-point line last night. He hasn't played since Christmas, so it's obviously not a surprise. When this trade was announced, I was very hesitant on how it could affect this year's Laker team. It obviously made sense in the long run. It's a passing of the torch from LeBron to Luka to lead this Laker franchise. But after seeing that, my expectations have shot way up of what this team can accomplish this year. And again, I know it was just Utah. They do have a game against the Nuggets coming up. With the whole not having a real center thing, I am fascinated to see how they're going to handle Jokic. That's a very physical Denver team. So that's going to be a fascinating matchup. When you have Rui running the 5 at certain points in the game, you obviously could have some matchup issues. But man, overall, I think Luka has completely changed the outlook for this season for the Lakers. And I am fascinated to see what they can do in this upcoming run of games.